Once upon a time, in a big and beautiful boarding school called Rosewood Heights Secondary School, something strange happened. It was the beginning of a new term, and students were returning from the holidays. The school was full of excitement, noise, and laughter. Girls dragged their boxes, hugged their friends, and rushed to check their hostel rooms. But in the middle of all the noise, one girl walked in quietly. Her name was Mildred Parker. She wasn't like the other girls. She didn't come with a driver or big suitcase. She wore a simple gown, black shoes, and a faded pink backpack. Her eyes were round, her skin very smooth, and her cheeks full. She was short and chubby, with natural hair packed into a puff. Around her waist, hidden under her clothes, she wore something no one else knew about: red beads. Not just ordinary beads. These beads were ancient. Her grandmother had given them to her before she died, with a warning: if anyone ever tries to hurt you badly, if they ever go too far, untie the last bead. But only when you're truly sure. Mildred didn't speak much. She was quiet, always reading her books or sitting alone under the mango tree near the library. But her quietness made her the perfect target for the bullies in Rosewood Heights. The three most popular girls in school were Zara, Amelia, and Queenie. They ruled the school like queens. Everyone feared them. They were tall, pretty, smart, and rich. They hated Mildred from the first day they saw her. "Who let a bouncing ball into this school?" Zara whispered, laughing. "She looks like a round egg," Queenie added. "Let's make her our new game," Amelia said, grinning. From that day, they made Mildred's life hard. They poured water on her bed, hid her books, made fun of her when she walked, and laughed when she ate. They even called her names in front of other students. Mildred never said a word. She just smiled sometimes and walked away. But every night, in her small bed in the corner of Greenhouse Dorm 3, she would whisper to herself and touch her red beads. One day, during break time, the three girls planned their worst prank yet. They tricked Mildred into going to the old storeroom behind the dining hall. They told her a teacher asked her to fetch a broom from there. Once she went inside, they locked the door from outside. It was dark, cold, full of cobwebs. Mildred knocked. She shouted. No one came. She sat in the corner and waited for hours. She could hear the bell ring for lunch, then for prep, then for dinner. She missed all her classes. When the matron finally opened the storeroom at night, she saw Mildred sitting calmly, smiling in the dark. "What happened to you?" the matron asked. "Nothing, Ma," Mildred said, standing up. That night, in the dormitory, she did not cry. She did not complain. She simply untied the last red bead. The next morning, strange things began to happen. First, Zara lost her voice. She tried to speak in class, but only air came out. The teachers were confused. Her voice never returned that day. Next, Amelia started seeing Mildred everywhere. Even when she closed her eyes, Mildred's smiling face appeared. She screamed during assembly and said Mildred was standing beside her, but no one else could see it. Then, Queenie found her school bag filled with dead ants. Thousands of them. She screamed and fainted. The school turned upside down. Everyone whispered, "Is it Mildred?" She did nothing, but something is wrong. Those red beads. I saw something under her gown. The three bullies refused to eat. They stayed in their hostel beds, shaking in fear. That night, Zara wrote a letter and dropped it on Mildred's locker. It said, "We are sorry. Please forgive us." Mildred read it. Then she walked into their room, stood in front of their beds and said, "I accept your apology. I hope you have learned your lesson." Suddenly, Zara's voice returned. Amelia stopped seeing things. Queenie's bed became normal again. The next day, the school principal made a rule. No more bullying. Ever. And Mildred? She still sat under the mango tree, reading. But no one laughed at her again. In fact, some girls sat beside her, hoping to be her friend. But no one ever asked about the red beads. They were never seen again. And from that day, Rosewood Heights became a peaceful school. But everyone knew deep down, Mildred Parker was not an ordinary girl. After the strange events that changed everything at Rosewood Heights, peace returned to the school. The teachers noticed the calmness. There were no fights, no gossip, and no laughter behind people's backs. But deep inside, students still whispered about one person, Mildred Parker. Some said she was a witch. Others believed she was a spirit in human form. A few said she was just smart and found a way to scare her bullies. But Mildred knew the truth. She wasn't human. She had never been. Mildred came from a different world, a place where spirits lived and walked freely. She had been sent to the human world to learn how people treated one another. Her grandmother, a guardian of the spirit realm, gave her the red beads as protection. The last bead was her key. Once it was untied, her true nature would slowly begin to reveal itself. Even though she looked like a young girl, inside her was the power of generations of women who had faced pain, rejection, and hate. Her mission was to show the world what happens when kindness is thrown away and hate is celebrated. After the incident, Mildred became quieter. She smiled more, not because she was happy, but because she had done what she came to do. One night, during prep, a new girl named Jasmine tried to mock a junior girl who wore torn sandals. "Oh, don't touch me with those village feet," Jasmine shouted. Everyone froze. Mildred stood up. She walked slowly to Jasmine, her eyes calm. "You're new here," she said softly. "We don't do that anymore." Jasmine laughed. "And who are you? The schoolmother?" Suddenly, the lights flickered. Jasmine's book burst into flames and turned to ash. Everyone screamed. Jasmine fell to the ground, crying, "I'm sorry! I didn't mean it!" Mildred walked away, back to her seat. The next morning, the school gathered again. The principal, confused and afraid, spoke to the students. Kindness is now law in Rosewood Heights. If anyone is caught mocking or bullying another, they will be sent home. That week, more girls came to sit beside Mildred. They brought her snacks, helped her sweep, and listened when she spoke. But Mildred knew her time was almost up. Her mission was almost complete. One night, as the moon shone brightly, she stood under the mango tree and whispered a song her grandmother taught her. Suddenly, the red beads appeared in her hand, again glowing softly. She smiled. The next morning, her bed was empty. Her locker was clean. Her school uniform folded neatly on the mattress. But on top of it was a note. "Be kind to one another. You never know who is watching." The principal called her parents, but they said, "We don't know who Mildred is. We never had a child in this school." From that day, her name was never seen in the school register again. But the lesson she left behind remained forever. Kindness is a powerful thing, and the quiet ones, they may be more powerful than you think. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing and mysterious tales. New stories drop every week. You don't want to miss them. Stay kind and stay blessed.